when you apply polyurethane to your coasters, get a piece of paper, get a couple pieces of scrap wood out of the scrap box, and set your coasters on top of the scrap. Take some polyurethane. You only need a ½ inch or so on the bottom of the brush. You can go ahead and just brush it into the coaster. You want to try and avoid any splotches like that. Now you're going to do just one side. So I'm going to do the face and the edges on one side. I'm not going to do the bottom though, because from setting on the bottom it would ruin the finish. So I'm just going to set it like this. And make sure I have the edges done and the whole top, and just leave it sit on the piece of scrap wood like that. Go ahead and do that for all of them. Get the top and all 4 edges, just enough to cover. Nice light coat is better than a thicker coat. It'll take, in 10, maybe 15 minutes, these should be dry enough where you can flip them and apply a coat on the other side. So keep an eye on them throughout the class period. Just let them sit where they are so they can dry. And then in a few minutes, when that top coat dries, flip it and do the other side. You should be able to get at least 1 coat on both sides of the coasters during a class period. Depending how quick you are and how light of a coat you put on, you might be able to get 2 coats on each side during one class period. And that would obviously be the best case scenario, because you could have your varnishing all done in 2 days then rather than 3. The same goes for the rest of the coasters. On your coaster box, I would say you should varnish everything except for the bottom, and then you can set that up the same way. So go ahead and get this all varnished. Again, try to avoid any puddles and any dry spots. It has like a milky white appearance right now, but once the varnish is clear or dry, it'll turn clear. I am rushing a little bit through this application because I have bus duty in about 2 minutes. So don't be afraid to take your time on this step and really do a nice job and spread that varnish evenly. If it's too uneven, it's going to cost you some extra time sanding before you put your next coat on. Gloves are not necessary for this process. Just make sure you're being careful. Try not to get your hands all full of stuff. There. Again, avoid any drips or any puddles. That's good. Now I can get the other 2 coasters. Apply the polyurethane with the grain on the faces, on the edges. Doesn't really matter. You can just run it right along the edge. After you have your polyurethane, I make sure you wash your brush out, because you're going to keep reusing this brush. So make sure that you have it washed out and clean when you're done. Okay, so there's 1 coat. Give it 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes. You can flip everything and then do the back side.